We actually have some Yubel for you today. That's not something I thought I would see a lot of. Magispectors, and is that the legendary Ursarctics as well, and some more top meta picks as well. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So starting things off here, we'll be looking at a Yubel deck for the OCG this week, and something that I hadn't really considered out here was exploring fusion deployment. This is actually kind of cool because, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, I forgot that, Yubel actually is listed as a fusion material now, which means we can beam it off of this, because it is specifically named the fusion. I also see that we are playing one of the Envoy of the Wax State, and we are playing one of the Master of Ham in here as well. I assume that they just kind of wanted some extra deck filler for, Pot of Extravagance, just to make sure, you can generate some of the better advantage. And then, of course, Geist Grinder Golem, the Lotus being crazy cards. We're doing a 3-1-1 line on the Yubels. Honestly, you don't want to play more of these, because these are some of the worst bricks that you can ever see in your dueling career, and it feels bad to draw these cards. So definitely one of the, I would say, more interesting variants that we've actually seen people out here messing around with Yubel. You got to understand, at the end of the day, you're still playing Yubel. You still have, Brick Central as your problem. So you got to find a way to kind of work around that. And it looks like they were trying pretty well. Next up here, we have the power of Magispector good stuff. Hi, Gust. How are you? I do see that they are playing one copy of Birdman in here. I don't really know how I feel about this. It does give you access to, well, Metaphys Horus. I see they're playing Meteor Burst. Technically, Birdman plus 2 level 3s does make Trishula. So that's it's one of those awkward situations that you can actually hard make this and, roll all the way across your opponent. And of course, they still have Electromite. I understand that, the Pendulum good stuff decks are always going to look a lot more exciting because they have a lot more interesting cards to kind of make use out of. And I definitely agree with that. And of course, the fact this deck can actually cheese this out because of our spellcaster friend there is actually a little bit insane. Especially, when you go through like full combo, you stop, set up, and then you're like, oh, hey, by the way, slams down Majesty's Pegasus with the Secret Village, and you just now soft lock your opponent. Also, the Magispector Draco is also spellcaster. So you've got plenty of options available to you out here for what we're going to call the really dumb ideas that you can mess around with. I like this. Needs to be a little bit more fine, but okay. Next up is, what in the world is our Ursarctic pile here? I've wanted to see somebody actually visit the Ursarctic pile and actually analyze and try to figure out, the best way to go about this, because we all know that things kind of get a little bit crazy out here for the counters that you can kind of generate on these cards. The free insane draw power that you can also get always feels kind of crazy, but I don't blame people for not really wanting to explore a lot of these options. I also see that we are playing one of the Carnord here as well. Remember, this is the thing, as long as your opponent did a monster effect, it gets to beam itself on out, and your opponent kind of is forced to deal with it. Now, not always will this card be assisting, but it is a giant stepping stone for, possibly some of the little reverse synchro ideas for having the larger stars. I see that we're also playing the Stellar Wind Wolf Fort here as well. I don't really have too much else to say about this. I do think that the righty driver with the lefty driver is extremely cute. It does help a lot of the synchro plays, considering, you got to invert the levels and things like that in order to kind of get places where, you can climb even higher into some of the better synchros that you've kind of got available to your toolbox. Next up, hey! Now this is This is the stuff I like to see. We have Necros, of all things, sporting off our Skull Guardian package. Now, if you haven't been paying a lot of attention to the OCG meta, Silent Forces with the Skull Guardian stuff has been gaining a huge amount of popularity. Like, this deck has been a very solid metagame pick, and it has been devastating a lot of players. Now, what happens when you go ahead and you kind of implement that in here with, you know, the floodgate effects of Unicorn, and now, you know, you've got, you know, Skull Guardian set up here for protection. The biggest thing here is this package shouldn't be bulking down too much on the deck. I understand, like, yeah, Diviner of the Herald, but I mean, you're using Herald to drop the other Herald. I love that. And then kind of start going up through the combo lines so you can, you know, set up the Mr. Novox with the Silent Forces protection here. This does get you searchability. Interesting. And then plus the rest of the Silent Forces barrier stuff and Authority. Authority is a crazy card. I also see that we are citing a Sophia down here. That's not exactly something that I thought would come up, but you know what? If it does end up being something that you can actually resolve, it's probably going to end up being a blowout card on the opponent. Sophia's pretty good. Next up here, we have some Dark Magician Diabellstar for you. I think most of the ideas for this list are probably going to revolve around Roselia. Because remember, Roselia lets you target a level 7 spellcaster and apply the following effects. Those effects are, you can make that monster unaffected by other monster effects and send it to the graveyard on the standbys of the next turn. Or you can basically have your opponent lose attack equal to the target monster's attack. And yes, if those monsters' attacks hit 0, you destroy them. So this is actually huge board wipe, especially, you know, if you target your Dark Magician or, you know, you target Diabellstar herself, then congratulations, you got a huge board wipe. I see down here for our trap lineup, we were kind of saucy. Like, we have the Draco Utopian Future, we have the Ash Dragons, we are siding the Silvera, which is fine. We're already main decking the one Skill Drain. I mean, this is pretty common at this point, right? Like, if you're not main decking Skill Drain, especially in a deck like this where you're going to be, you know, trying to blow out your opponent as quickly as possible, I like this. It's cool to see that Diabellstar actually has amazing Dark Magician support. It's just, or synergy. It's just people don't really explore the option of this two packages together, and I think it's kind of underestimated, actually. You know, so give this package some consideration. I know the price point's not good, but ideas. Hey, we're back again. Not only did we have 2 of these builds, we get to see some extremely different takes on these decks, which is actually really cool. I mean, obviously, we're still playing a Red Hair. Now, this build's not playing Sophia down here in the side deck. Actually, I feel like this build's a lot more streamlined for what you really want to see. The Unicorns doing some pretty big work out here to put that pressure on the opponent. I see that the Necros of Brionic and friends. Okay. True Novox is fine. This is definitely going to be helping you for the consistent approach of things. And of course, Yield Diviner of the Heralds, applying that, you know, instant dump pressure on your opponent so you can start toggling through and making sure that, you know, your deck does what it needs to do, which is attempt to start winning the game. Okay, a good consistent approach here. And our last list for this is we have more of these builds of Goaty with the little fish package that people keep telling me is really, really bad. But it's been having a big success rate out of the OCG. So the idea here is you're using the Abyss Shark, the white cards, as well as a mini sub package, and then they all kind of synergize through the Goaty package here, and then they start setting up the bigger synchro. It's a lot of moving pieces, but it actually establishes a pretty strong board. A lot more than I think some people in your meta really want to handle. And of course, in true degeneracy, we do get to play the Gravity Collapse, which is just going to put more pressure on the opponent. That way, you know, once you get things off the ground and you freely set up, you're off to the races. Also, White Reincarnation is a busted card. So that is everything that we have for you today out of these very, very, very interesting decks. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.